Yeah. How do you even jump right into this topic, right? Because it's so for lack of better words, it's sensitive material.
It is.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because we're dealing with hurtful and offensive situations. And we're not trying to downplay them at all.
Right.
We just want to ask some questions. That's all. We want to ask questions. We want to bring some things to the table today. So vibe with us. Just try to take it all in before responding right away. So today's episode is called Surviving Cancel Culture. And I want to start off by saying that to cancel someone, usually a celebrity or an other well-known figure, means to stop giving support to that person. The act of canceling could mean boycotting an actor's movies or no longer reading or promoting a writer's works. Could mean those things or even more, right? The reason for cancellation can be a bunch of different things, but it's usually due to the person in question having expressed an offensive opinion and behaving in a way that's unacceptable. We live in a day and age where people and businesses are being canceled. And I wonder if sometimes we might go a little too far in trying to destroy someone's career or well-being by something that they said or that they did. I guess we can ask this. Has anyone stopped and thought, man, people are being shamed for having an unpopular opinion or holding to offensive beliefs, right? Has anyone ever stopped and thought, well, maybe that means that they're coming to cancel people of faith next? Maybe they're already doing it. We're going to talk about some of those things today. Yeah. Has society become too easily offended? How should Christians navigate in a culture obsessed with being politically correct? In what way is cancel culture directly connected to the way we live our lives every day? All right. And I'll even ask one more question, because these are questions that we hope to get to today, to get to the bottom of, right? What if someone looked at the lost or the hidden files of your life, right? Your life was recorded, every moment of it. Every moment of your life was recorded. They found the lost files, they looked at them, and they scrutinized it to the fullest.
Ouch.
What would you think about that? Because that's happening.
I moved to Puerto Rico and cut my internet service off.
Right. Well, I might even mention this is happening with some historical church leaders as well. Right.
Right. So let's
really be merciful here. Let's be thoughtful,
careful,
cautious.
Right.
Let's think about all of this stuff today. That's what we're going to tackle in today's episode. Do you think that society today has become too easily offended?
Yeah.
Or are they not offended enough? I'll even finish that one by saying that.
Yeah, I think we are too easily offended. That's a given. I think anybody who's honest will look into the culture, look into what's going on, especially in award shows or anything that people are involved in that demands a lot of attention.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. This it's almost like the culture's become so fragile with opinion or with differences that it's polarized people to different tribes now. You know, the culture's tribal, very divisive and separate. Ellen DeGeneres, I don't know if we were going to talk about this. Of course, we disagree with the lifestyle. We're not advocating that you go watch a show. But she was seen with George Bush, who was a Republican president, and she got backlash for that. It's like, what? You know, so there's a lot of confusion. It's like, it's not your business. You know what I'm saying? Like, if homegirl wants to chill with someone that she considers a friend that differs from her, that's even like, that's what America was about, right? Or supposed to be about.
Yeah.
But so yeah, I think we've always had this problem. I think it would be I don't want to get too much deep into it, but I think that the culture is too fragile not able to stomach some conversations. And I think it's you know, now thinking about it, I think it's a byproduct of postmodernism, you know.
Ooh. There it goes.
Yeah, so
it always comes back, man.
I think
Postmodernism
so.
plays a huge role.
When you deconstruct meaning and deconstruct language or things that the culture has agreed on as norms, and you try to deconstruct that, you end up with things like this, you know. It divides people, it divides opinions, which, you know, I don't mind differing from someone who has differences in opinion, but when you talk about, I'm not even gonna look at you because you just disagree with me, we're talking about something different, you know.
And you know what, I think that this still has a connection to some of the other episodes that we've done. Later on, we'll talk about how the church may be persecuted, and we did talk about that in the first season. We just recently, on our last episode called Hug Your Enemies, we talked about forgiveness, restoration and reconciliation with others, still loving others and showing mercy to others. We even talked about the gossip and the slander, which I think that plays a role in cancel culture as well. So, I mean, we can go down the line, but a lot of the episodes, I was thinking to myself earlier, man, they play a huge role, or even precursors to where we're at right now with this episode. So, cancel culture, man, it plays a huge role in everyday life. And what is cancel culture? I looked it up online, and it says it's a call out. It's also known as call out culture. It's also known as outrage culture because people that hear things, they get outraged sometimes. It's a form of public shaming that aims to hold individuals and groups accountable for their actions by calling attention to behavior that is perceived to be problematic, usually on social media. Cancel culture describes a form of boycott in which someone, usually a celebrity, has shared a questionable or unpopular opinion or has had behavior that is perceived to be either offensive or problematic, called out on social media, and therefore gets canceled. They are completely boycotted by many of their followers or supporters, often leading to massive declines in celebrities and almost always social media personalities, careers, and fan base. It can also be used to describe how traditionally underrepresented and oppressed groups harness the internet and social media to hold powerful people accountable when institutions won't. We've seen this in the case of the Me Too movement, the wave of many credible accusations of sexual misconduct against powerful figures in various industries, following the New York Times reporting on Harvey Weinstein. So depending on who you ask, you might get a good or bad response to what is cancel culture.
Again, one of the byproducts of a postmodern world now. You know, it's like,
So I asked a good question. I said, this is for the audience, and you guys keep on replying because I see some of your replies right there. God bless y'all to those that are watching. We love that y'all comment on here. We love to hear from you. Keep on doing that. Go ahead and like the video. Go ahead and comment and share. I'll ask the question one more time out loud, and you guys feel free to answer it. Do you think society has become too easily offended?
Because there is offense that's warranted.
Right.
For sure. A group of people can rise up and consider something unjust, and that needs to be dealt with publicly. I think that's fine. I tried to nutshell the definition of cancel culture as a group of people who seek to boycott someone, usually a celebrity, who said something that is perceived as offensive, or they did something that was immoral, evil, or obviously wrong. There's an aspect of it that I think it's actually the culture, I think, is duped sometimes to believing that something's offensive when it's not. It's just truthful. You know what I mean? So like, I think Christians are going to end up seeing, or not, we're already seeing it, I think, in preaching the unadulterated gospel, which is offensive. That's going to be considered something that people want to cancel out.
And you know what? We're seeing it on local businesses and institutions. We're not just seeing it in Hollywood or anything like that. We're seeing it in small businesses in your neighborhood being boycotted. Right here, we live in Lancaster, PA,
Right.
and there's a pizza shop in Lancaster. I'm not gonna say the name because I don't want to feed into
the
it.
Incident. Yeah.
Yeah, just recently.
Yeah.
The pizza shop, and there was a racist owner, and this guy has been known to be racist for years.
Right.
People were finally getting to the point where, like, no, you know what? People of color need to stop going to that business.
Right.
Because he doesn't really care about you. He just wants your money. And he literally voiced that. Like, I've heard several accounts, and I've seen it myself, the way he acts with people of color. Like, he literally would tell somebody, I don't care, get out of here. You know, get your black something out of here. Like, he said it.
Right.
I ain't gonna lie. I went back a couple times after that. Like,
That pizza must be good then.
yo, the pizza is good. But I haven't gone there since people boycotted it.
Right.
I can't even say I'm part of the boycott. I feel somewhat like I feel somewhat like a sellout if I go though. Like,
yeah, I hear what you're saying. Yeah.
Only because I have known for years that this guy is racist, but his food, the food there at the restaurant is so good. And don't judge me, y'all. I'm being transparent and honest with y'all. Those of you that might feel like I need to boycott it for sure. I don't know. I'm kind of stuck in between because honestly, he never said anything directly to me. I heard it said. Right. I witnessed it said. So
never heard it.
Right. So he never said it to me. And the person he said it to, I'm not going to say he asked for it or if it was warranted, but the person he was saying it to was being rude to him. And I think his response was wrong.
Right.
It wasn't professional.
Right.
But he's an old guy that just... he gets out of pocket, man. And I'm bringing that up to bring up there's local businesses that we're seeing being canceled as well.
Yeah.
It's not just Hollywood.
Yeah, and the thing is, locally, nationally, or even globally, people that seek to cancel something now have social media outlets. They have news stations, sponsors. They go after sponsors also.
Yeah.
You know, of certain television networks or shows, and they try to cancel their accounts, appearances, payments from their sponsors in order to silence them, you know, to remove them from the public eye.
Yeah.
So it's a little different now because the little man right now, if you will, for lack of a better word, has a lot more outlet than he did before.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know? So.
Yeah. And you know what? I want to bring up some people who have been canceled or are fighting against politically correct / cancel culture.
Yeah.
You mentioned Trump supporters.
Yeah.
Trump supporters nowadays because of, come on, the stuff that Trump be saying and doing. Like,
yeah.
If you support him or his administration, you're likely to be canceled. And if not on a large scale, at least on a small scale where a person will look at you sideways. Oh, you're a Trump supporter, and we can cancel people out of our lives too. We can cancel people off of our social media. Yeah. That's why I say it's bigger than large platforms. Cancel culture affects everyday life. We can cancel people out for something that we disagree with them on, and we just don't want to deal with them anymore, right? So Trump supporters have been canceled, and they're fighting against that, right? Controversial comedians and comedic platforms are like major and have been major for the last several years of being canceled.
Yeah.
Roseanne Barr, she lost her show over racist tweets. Kevin Hart lost his lifelong dream job, which is to host the Oscars, over old homophobic tweets. Yeah. Right? Something that he said years ago. Louis C.K. and hold on, Kevin Hart actually apologized for it and everything, and no one wanted anything to do with him afterwards. It was crazy. I thought for sure, at first he said, I ain't apologizing. Then he came back like a little bit after that and said, you know what, I apologize. It was irresponsible for me to use my platform that way. And they still said, we're boycotting the Oscars if you guys let him host the Oscars.
Right.
Kevin Hart is not going to host and you know the Alphabet Boys. The Alphabet Boys, the LGBTQIA plus, all those other letters.
Yeah. Yeah.
Those guys are powerful.
And so some people can't understand how a minority group of people have such power. You know what I'm saying? Like their voices just seem to be so loud in the culture, and they don't make up the majority. So yeah, that could happen.
I wasn't laughing at what you. I was reading something in the comments.
No.
Louis C.K. He lost his manager and got iced out of Hollywood after he admitted to sexual misconduct. He admitted to it, and they still wanted to cancel him. I don't know what the sexual misconduct was, but I'm bringing these things up because sometimes people are admitting to doing the wrong, and people still don't want to forgive them.
Right. And here's the thing, though. Like, I think you put up R. Kelly. I put it up. Right.
Oh, I didn't even bring up R. Kelly,
right.
Bill Cosby. I didn't bring up a bunch of names. There's a bunch of names I didn't bring up.
So, like R. Kelly as an example, right? I grew up, listening to R. Kelly, right? When all this stuff came out, it's like I can't anymore, man. It's not because it's a cancel or like whatever. It's just mixed in with just the raw, like, offensive, disgusting things that he did. It's now the songs that he talked about, it's like
you can't listen to them the same.
Nah,
you listen to his old songs,
man. Age ain't nothing but a number. It's like I know what he meant by that. You know what I'm saying? So there is warrant sometimes to.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Right?
For sure. We don't want you guys to get that misconstrued. There's definitely reasons to cancel people.
Yeah.
And there's lots of celebs that were canceled by the Me Too movement. Right. I would say there's not even enough celebs that were canceled. Like, there needs to be more of that. Like, getting rid of some of those guys that are just, and ladies, not just guys, ladies too.
Right, yeah.
Sure. Some of them still need to be canceled. But, and this is my question, like, this is my problem with it, is that you might have guessed it. We've seen it taken to the extreme.
Yeah.
And definitely uncalled for measures to cancel someone's career or business. I just think that we need to, like, I don't know, not police it, but at least have some restraint on how far this goes. I think it needs to be appropriate discipline.
Yeah.
Not just wipe them off the face of the earth.
Yeah, we're not called to go, especially Christians. We're not called to go after people like that.
Because then the question is, like, do you care more about canceling them, or do you care more about that person as a person?
Yeah.
Like, do you care more about him or her as a person?
And
like,
that's
do you care about seeing them brought to the place that you think they should be brought to?
Right. And that would be considered offensive to have that concern for someone who did something extremely offensive. It's
right.
Like,
they're a monster. Why would you want the best for them?
Right. Right. It's like, listen, if you understood God's wrath, you wouldn't want to wish God's wrath on anyone.
Right. Right.
I think the posture that Christians need to have in the culture needs to be distinct.
Right.
And the way it's distinct is by showing the love of God no matter to who it is, and no matter what they've done. It doesn't mean we don't consider justice. It just means we consider the love of God for anyone who's committed whatever crime, and that's not really something that the culture is digging right now. They're just going after folks, and they want them gone.
Yeah, it's off with their head.
Yeah.
A guy that is pretty controversial on both sides of it. I won't even say his name, but he said something that I agreed with. He said, "I hate the whole cancel culture. Everyone is a little too sensitive, and I think going back in the past, for every little thing that someone did, no one would have a job."
Yeah, it's true.
It's true. I agree with that statement right there. Is there a point, and this is maybe rhetorical, is there a point where a person can be brought back after being canceled? That's my thoughts on that. Like, is there a point, or do we forever hold wrongs against someone for past sins? Because this is what I'm wondering is if there is something bigger at hand with the cancel culture issues. Is it because we have so much of a forgiveness issue? And we have a lack of mercy issue to the point where we just want to bring down judgment on people and not show sympathy or mercy or anything like that?
I think what's difficult for some folks is, like, now that I'm thinking about it, it's like, how do you maintain forgiveness and maintain responsibility and holding someone accountable?
For sure.
You know
This
what I
is
mean?
something that we brought up last episode.
Yeah,
like, you might want the best for Amber Geiger. She
Right.
murdered a man, innocent. Well, she murdered an unarmed man.
Right.
You still want her to face the penalty of her consequences.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
But you also want to show her mercy at the same time.
Right.
Like, how do you do that? How do you balance that?
Like football players, right? Like, there's some football players that there's some things, and the culture is crying out, cancel, get them out of the NFL, and then they're back in playing sports, doing their thing again, making a lot of money. You know, so it is difficult, you know, because you want to hold someone accountable. You do want justice, but you also want to maintain the reality of the gospel, you know, and it having the power to forgive anyone. That's where the tension, I think, is. You know, how do we as Christians forgive, but then hold to account what needs to be held into account, you know? And how do we maintain seeing the individual through the whole thing as a person, not just as an object that needs beaten or torn, you know?
Yeah.
Because you know, some people that profess to be Christian, man, the way they react and respond to cultural issues it's almost like it's derived from a lot of hatred.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of anger, a lot of, like, you know, we need to get this person, take this person out. It's like, yo, like, are you a Christian? You know?
Yeah.
Being a Christian is the preceding, you know what I'm saying, conviction to everything in life. It's the core of who we are.
Right.
It's not a part of who we are. And I think that's where a lot of these folks get wrong.
Yeah.
That's why they can set it aside and do what they do.